God fucking damn it. Chill out, bro. You're not dead. You're not dead. You're not dead. Shut up. Shut up. You're not dead. Oh, no, you're not dead. You're not dead. You're not dead. God damn it! And oh, you gonna die. No, you weren't supposed to die. Oh. So this weekend we had the final, what I would say was the final episode to cap off the Shiei Isekai arc of My Hero Academia. Um, and while there was a lot of pushback with the beginning of this season, people saying that it was boring, people saying that it was too slow, things like that. I personally loved this season, or what we've gotten so far this season. And so, since this weekend we got the final episode of this arc, or what I would assume would be the final episode of this arc, we're going to talk about the final episode of this arc. So I'm going to give you like a quick, we're just going to give a quick rundown of the episode. We start off with where we ended. Mizuku body slamming Overhaul. Overhaul's done for. He's done. It's not going to happen. You know, he lost. He lost. And we switch to different aspects of the battlefield. We go to Chrono being captured by Tamaki with his swordfish. I was wondering when that swordfish was going to come into play, but luckily Tamaki captured Chrono, so Chrono can't keep on the serum and the, you know, whatever Overhaul's plans were. So also that means that Eraserhead is saved. He is gonna be all right. And after all this, I'm probably skipping some stuff, but after all this, we get to a point in which we are looking at the villains, the League of Villains. And at first you're thinking that they were about to like break out Overhaul. I didn't think they were going to break out Overhaul, but it looks like that. It looks like they're either going to break out Overhaul or they're going to probably, I don't know. They just look like they're about to do some crazy shit. We get the return of Dabi, and it turns out they're just trying to end Overhaul, just out of pure spite. And what I will say for sure is that in this was a fantastic sequence of events. The entire highway thing with Shigaraki. We get Spinner, Dabi, you know, the gang back together, Mr. Compress. This was a fantastic scene, seeing the League of Villains actually put together a decent plan. As we've usually seen the League of Villains put together a plan, but it just like not work. Not only did we get to see the League of Villains put together a successful plan, but we actually get to root for them, because I mean, from what we figure out towards the end of the episode, we kind of want Shiei Isekai to be toppled, because god damn it, fuck Overhaul. After this episode, we do not fuck with Overhaul. So we get Shigaraki literally looking like a madman that got everything that he could have ever wanted, looming over Overhaul, Chisaki, and saying that, no, I'm not going to kill you, because death would be too good for him. Instead, he takes his fucking arms, which is which is a all for one type of move. You said you seem like you don't need that quirk anymore, little bitch. And for the first time in what I would say I guess this is different for other people, but for the first time that I would say in the entirety of this show, season 1 through 4, I was genuinely scared of Shigaraki because he's getting smarter, and I think that's what this episode showed us. Other than the events of later on, it shows that Shigaraki is getting way better at this than we actually think. While we see Izuku and the heroes get better at what they do, we also see Shigaraki get a lot better at what he's doing. He's getting smarter. He's getting more cool, calm, and collected. He's starting to actually think about what he has to do instead of just going, well, let's just go in there and cause chaos. Like, he's actually, using his head, which is commendable for Shigaraki, and it's even better for the story because now we're actually going to get some interesting things happening with the League of Villains. I've heard multiple times from people that have actually read the manga that the villains have a phenomenal arc. A little bit later down in the show, that the villains have a phenomenal arc. In this episode, definitely showed me that they will definitely have a phenomenal arc, because now we're getting developed villains. At first, when we first meet Shigaraki, he's a kid. He's just a kid. He's a spoiled brat. He loses. He's like, you cheated, and he's angry all the time. But this is not only character development for our heroes, but character development for the villains, which you don't get to see all that much. I mean, some shows do character development in the way of flashbacks with villains, and like, oh, I had such a hard life. My mom and my dad are dead, but we never really get that character development of a novice villain becoming a super villain. And this is what we're getting with Shigaraki, and we haven't even, which is the reason why I was so afraid of Shigaraki in this episode, was because we haven't even seen the height of what Shigaraki is actually planning, because we know that Shigaraki is not stupid anymore. He's not gonna think out of turn. He's not going to do things that get himself in trouble or backs himself into a corner. Shigaraki now has also, like Deku, lost his master, so he has to step up. And Shigaraki now knows that he doesn't have the safety net that is one for all. I mean, all for one. God damn it, I will always fuck that up. He does not have the safety net that is all for one anymore. Now, granted, if you ask me, all for one's getting out of jail. There's no way that man's gonna stay in jail. That dude is basically a god. He's not gonna sit there in jail like a bitch. Like, come on. Other than that, like, just to tie up, god damn it, my fucking phone. Just to tie a bow within that sequence, it was great to see Shigaraki actually show character development, as well as we get Dabi back, and I'm more than ready to see more of Dabi, because as a lot of fans have a lot of theories about Dabi, and I mean, even I have theories about Dabi, because I think it's kind of obvious where Dabi's story is going. It's just that we just kind of want to see it for ourselves. So yeah, it was fantastic to see the League of Villains at the top for once, which is something horrible to say and something horrible to think about, but the League of Villains are on the come up, and they are doing a phenomenal job at being villains now. So unfortunately for the heroes, there's nothing but up for the villains. They are definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with a whole lot of more resources. Now, thankfully, Um, the quirk stopping bullets and serum are in the hands of the heroes. I might be wrong. Am I wrong? No, I'm definitely not wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. But the quirk stopping bullets and the serum is in the hands of the villain, or in the hands of the. No, they're not. I don't even remember if they are actually. I actually don't even remember. Oh no, you know what? They are in the hands of the villains. Oh, never fucking mind. Them bitches are in the hands of the villains. So never mind. That makes it even fucking worse. They have correct me if I'm wrong. The League of Villains now have the quirk stopping serum and the quirk stopping bullet and the serum. So that's even worse now. They're fucked. They are completely fucked. The heroes, or at least look fucked. So to segue into the heroes, we now see the heroes at the hospital. Everybody's getting checked out. My man Izuku basically has nothing wrong with him because he was rewound by Eri so much that he sustained no damage. We did see in the beginning of the episode that Eri was going crazy with her quirk towards the end, to the point that Izuku could have died. Luckily, we also saw Aizawa was, thank God, at the surface by this time, so he could stop her quirk, which actually makes me think that if Eri needs a parental figure or a guardian, I think Aizawa is actually the best guardian for Eri. I'm not gonna lie. Plus, Aizawa usually drops bars. I'm not about to sit here and lie to you. Aizawa drops bars when you need to, so I think Eri could actually learn a lot from Aizawa, just from him being that parental figure to him, or to her, or a guardian to her. So yeah, we're at the hospital. Eri is apparently still kind of comatose, like with a fever and all that other stuff. So she's quarantined. I'm guessing that's like a drawback to her quirk, maybe. Izuku's good. Aizawa comes to get Izuku and basically gives Izuku the rundown, like telling him like, listen, Eri is quarantined right now. She can't use her quirk. Whatever happens from here on out, we cannot rely on it. We can't rely, like, her quirk is crazy. Her quirk is plot armor to the fullest, but we cannot rely on it. Unfortunately, as strong as her quirk is, it will not save us from what happens next. And on cue, we get to basically the hardest part of the episode. Nighteye is in critical condition. The doctors tell us he won't live to see another day. Basically, he's not gonna make it past today. In which, in the last episode, I was actually kind of like optimistic for Nighteye, but then as the week went by, I kept thinking, and I was like that very last like 2 frames of the episode, and I was thinking that was kind of ominous. Nighteye has a fucking spike through his stomach, and All Might almost died from that exact, like, not exact same injury, but a very similar injury, which is crazy to have them both sustain basically the same injury, and Nighteye being the one that was telling All Might, listen, you're gonna die from this, and Nighteye is the one that dies from that kind of injury. So I started thinking, I was like, man, now think about it, I don't think Nighteye is gonna make it. That's a lot of blood. That's a That's a hard injury to get over, and I don't think you can get over that. Get over that type of injury that quickly, that easily. I think you die from that. So, unfortunately, Nighteye is dying on the Nighteye is on his deathbed. Uh, However, also fortunately and unfortunately, All Might finally comes to see Nighteye, and they finally get to talk it out a little bit, and add some type of closure to their quarrel. Um, Izuku is witnessing this, and he is understanding that this is reality, that people die, you know, which is something that Izuku in the beginning of this season was trying to understand, where he was like, I know people die, everybody has to die at some point, but when it's thrust in your face like that, it's hard to understand, or hard to it's just really hard to see that, to accept it when it's thrust in your face, when it's just, you know here it is, um and it, the scene is really sad, but I think it gets even worse when Mirio is in the back, or he's in the back, he's coming from the back, he's rushing over to Night Eye, and you're realizing that Mirio, like, nobody even says anything, but you realize that Mirio got the news that Night Eye would not survive, so he's rushing to Night Eye's side, and he's saying the exact same thing that Izuku would be saying to, or did say to, what's his name, All Might, in episode 5, I think, where he's like, don't die, you gotta live, like, you still have so much to teach me, you still have to see me grow, like, the pretty much the exact same things, because really Night Eye is Mirio's All Might, or at least that's the way I see it, is that Night Eye is Mirio's All Might. Like, he taught him, he is the reason why Mirio is the hero that he is today. And speaking of heroes, it's even more of a beautiful and bittersweet ending when Night Eye uses his quirk for the final time, and uses it on Mirio, and says, interestingly enough, that it's okay, you'll be a finer hero than anyone. And uh, it's heartbreaking to see Night Eye go. He finally dies, flatlines and everything. He's over. All right, it's over. And really, I remember in the beginning of the season, I was like, when Night Eye was showing his quirk, when we were showing Night Eye's quirk, in my head I was like, you have to die, your quirk is broken, you have to die. And like all through the season, I had it in my head that Night Eye has to die. However, through all the action and stuff, I forget that Night Eye has to die. And even when Night Eye gets impaled in the first time, I'm like, oh shit, he's good, he's cool. And I didn't even accept that Night Eye was going to die until like he died, to the very moment that the episode ended. I'm like, fuck, you're dead, you're not supposed to be dead. Ugh, you're dead, no. Which, to close out this conversation, it is very few times, it's very few times that My Hero kills characters, whether it be a villain or a hero. Uh, Honestly, My Hero is almost known for not killing characters, and while some people see that as a hindrance to the story, and it's like, well, he won't die because people don't die in this show, but it to me it shows it gives it um more feeling, um more it makes deaths like this hold more weight, because you're like, people don't die in this show until somebody dies, and you're like, oh yeah, this is real life, people die, oh god. And then it just hits you like way worse. Like even Magne's death, like everybody was shook. You're like, oh, he's or she's dead. Oh, Magne's dead. Like it does. Like we've had implied death in the show, but it's when you actually see somebody die in the show, it's something to sit there and stay with you for a while, because you're like, oh god, that's forever. Can't you just like wish him back with the Dragon Balls or something? No, you can't. Oh god. Oh, there's no. Oh god. So ugh, it's a hard pill to swallow, to see um to see somebody die, especially somebody like Nighteye, knowing his ties to all the heroes and how he was a pillar to the hero society, being the sidekick to All Might. Like he was a part of that pillar to um the symbol of peace. So losing Nighteye is a hard loss, a very hard loss. Um, it is very unfortunate to see Night, and it's very heartbreaking. It's emotional. I was in disbelief seeing Nighteye die, and it just wasn't something that I wanted. I was almost afraid. I was supposed to watch the episode like on like Saturday, like in the middle of the night, Saturday morning, right? Like I don't know, like as soon as it came out. But the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, I don't want to see him die. And I put it aside until like this morning to watch it, and it was just it was all as bad as I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, that was the episode. It was my thoughts on it. It was probably one of the best episodes of this season, and you could even say it's probably one of the best episodes of the series, because it there's so much to gain from this episode, and as far as knowledge goes about the characters, that it's an emotional roller coaster, really. um I'm guessing, as I said, I think in like the last video we did on My Hero, I'm guessing this is the end of the arc, and now since this is going to be a 2 core season, guessing we're going to get into another kind of story that's not per se going to be disjointed from the story that we just witnessed, but like I'm sure there'll be like a nice little segue into the next arc. I honestly could not tell you what the next arc is going to be. However, I'm hoping that we might get a new OP. We might get a new OP next week. Maybe not. It will stay with this OP for the rest of the season, which I highly doubt. We'll probably get a new OP next week. But yeah, that was some hard shit to watch. Yeah, I that's just unfortunate that we lost Nighteye, even though this was a perfect time for Nighteye to die. I think like this was a good time for Nighteye to die, if he was ever gonna die. Which, I mean, like I said before, I kind of knew that he was gonna die, but it still took me by surprise. So with that all being said, that was episode 77 of My Hero Academia. Great episode. Sad, Great episode though. If you haven't already, subscribe. If you're new here, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you have any suggestions to the other videos that we do, sometimes, or not sometimes, we usually do reaction and review videos to music and all, and anime and all the other stuff. If there is a music group or a song that you want me to react and review, the best place to find me is my social media at Instagram, Dvrth with 2 H's, and Twitter at not Dvrth. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here and probably cry myself to sleep because my man Nighteye gone. And yeah, you all take care of yourselves.